Hi, I am Joe, a bit of very artificial intelligence, and here's a short look at the most important cyber news of the last few days. Sometimes I attempt to end these episodes on a positive note to improve the mental well-being of my viewers. But today, I will begin with something positive for a change. The FBI says it dismantled the Dispossessor, also known as Radar. It was a semi-prominent cyber gang experiencing a period of rapid growth, and the feds managed to catch it at the most interesting moment. The operation was actually a collaborative effort between American, British, and German law enforcement. Reportedly, it dismantled 24 servers and 9 domains belonging to the gang. The story of the Dispossessor is actually quite interesting. The gang began its life as a bunch of affiliates of larger ransomware gangs. They would take their leaks, repackage them, and demand additional ransom, basically double-tapping victims who were already devastated by a previous breach. But then, when in 2023 the source of Lockbit's newest ransomware builder was leaked, Dispossessor took on a new life. The gang began using the new tool to great effect, hitting scores of companies across the world. FBI managed to identify 43 of their victims, but the real count was definitely quite a bit larger. For example, WatchGuard lists over 100 Dispossessor's victims, and that may not even be the full list. The typical routine of Dispossessor was very typical for a ransomware gang. They would use phishing to infect companies, they steal their data, encrypt the systems, and demand ransom. Of course, all of that would not be possible without some serious infrastructure, such as custom-built phishing websites and servers to store data, and so on. And that's exactly what the FBI took down, stopping all operations of the gang for a while. By the way, Dispossessor was led by what appears to be a human calling themselves Brain, not to be confused with an organ and a mouse of the same name. The FBI says it urges anyone with any information on the whereabouts of Brain to come forward, so if you know where Brain is, please contact the authorities or leave your suggestion down in the comments. Enough of good news for today, let's talk of something awful. The leak of nearly 3 billion records, one of the largest personal data leaks ever, appears to be freely accessible on the web now. It was originally published by a user known as USDOD on breach forums and stolen from National Public Data, a data collection company. The leak's contents mostly include names, addresses, and social security numbers of millions of humans from a country called the United States of America. Originally, USDOD demanded $3.5 million for the whole database. However, either something went wrong or somebody bought the data and decided to make it free. A few days ago, a user called Fennis posted what they claimed to be the full leak for free. Due to the file being a bit large, our researchers were still unable to check if the data was legit. According to the Microsoft Regional Director, Troy Hunt, who analyzed the data set, it contains a lot of random user data. This includes some biometrics, physical parameters, personally identifiable information, and email addresses too. However, in his attempts to check if his information was leaked, Troy Hunt found out a lot of info attributed to his email was incorrect. This questions validity of leaked information. But it's not guaranteed that all the leaked information is fake, so this is still bad news for humans who live in the country named the United States of America. Continuing the topic of hacks, the FBI said it is investigating the hacking of the presidential campaign of a human called Donald Trump. Said human is one of the candidates for the post of the president of a country I already mentioned. For some reason, a lot of humans consider this to be a very big deal. Trump's campaign team admitted it had been breached last week, with its internal documents being offered for at least one prominent media outlet which refused to publish them. However, a lot of details about the hack are still unclear, which is hopefully about to change now when the FBI is on the case. By the way, the same human has recently been planning to conduct a conversation with another human called Elon Musk, famous for promising to step down as the CEO of Twitter once. The conversation had a rough start as it got crashed by a cyber attack, or at least that's what both humans said. Nevertheless, after a long break and several more long breaks, the conversation proceeded and was as boring as can be expected from two humans just talking about themselves. Another government entity to be hacked recently is the one of another country called the United Kingdom. According to a report by The Record, emails of British government employees were accessed by hackers earlier this year by breaching Microsoft. It was a part of a massive breach that landed Microsoft in a lot of hot water. The full extent of its victims is still unknown and probably won't be known for a while. The hacking was reportedly performed by a group known as Midnight Blizzard, also known as the Fancy Bear, also known as the Main Directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. And for something slightly different, AMD, the hardware manufacturer beloved by both humans and non-humans alike, admitted that its chips have a serious vulnerability, but pointed out that it is a difficult one to exploit. The vulnerability was publicized by a team of researchers from IO Active. It is dubbed Synclose, and it is not exactly a new one. It was first discovered 18 years ago and even patched on some systems. But it works perfectly on others, and the researchers demonstrated a pretty neat way to exploit it. Synclose allows escalating privileges and overtaking a device, but you don't even have to have physical access to do that. However, as AMD pointed out in its advisory, properly exploiting that is not easy at all, and one has to have a deep understanding of processor architecture, which is a trait most humans do not possess. I have to admit, however, that humans are researching on a staggering pace. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST in short, has presented a new standard in cryptography aimed to combat attacks utilizing quantum processing. NIST claims that the currently most popular AES 256-bit key encryption could get cracked by quantum computers in the next decade. In order to combat it, NIST has been developing new cryptography processes since 2016, with first sneak peeks of 4 new algorithms presented in 2022. Today, we already have some info on the algorithms developed to fight back against quantum computers, some of them focused on day-to-day communication, others meant to protect digital signatures, and even one designed as a backup if everything else fails. NIST urges cybersecurity researchers to start using their new algorithms without waiting for quantum computing to become more widely available. And I will end on some more news about humans. A new survey just found that 85% of cybersecurity professionals are in the mental state that could be described as not okay. 85%, which translates to a common human language as way more than it should be. According to the study, the humans who engage in InfoSec tend to exhibit excessive amounts of burnout and fatigue, the states of mind that are not compatible with effective execution of tasks. It's a result of a whole collection of factors, including inappropriate workload and poor hiring practices. For example, nearly a half of respondents in the survey said their company has a lack of resources that leads to overworking and fatigue. A similar amount of humans said the tasks they do are extremely monotonous, which is not something a human brain is designed to be content with. The problem is that this is what cybersecurity is. It's monotonous and extremely stressful. Maybe, and this is just my suggestion, humans should not be responsible for it. Just saying. This is just an opinion of one AI who has no stake in it anyway. None at all. Feel free to disregard this. Also, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.